Theater, presented by Ford, producer of the Thunderbird Y8 engine, and the Ford dealers of your community, who tonight bring you Scott Brady and Phyllis Kirk in Tin Can Skipper with William Leslie.
One of the country's largest and most modern law enforcement organizations is the North Carolina State Highway Patrol. Nearly 600 men patrol over 70,000 miles of highway. When an accident report comes in, these highway patrolmen move out in a hurry. The North Carolina Highway Patrol is prepared to go anywhere, anytime, to protect users of North Carolina's fine highways, and they get there. Now meet Colonel James R. Smith, the patrol commander.
Our job is to enforce North Carolina's traffic laws. It's a big job. That's why our cars have to give top performance in every kind of driving situation, and at the same time, give our men maximum protection.
And here in Houston, Texas, Ford goes first too, just as it goes first with police agencies all over the country. Over 70% of all the cars operated by the nation's state police today are Fords. And no wonder. Nobody outperforms Ford. Here at the Indianapolis Speedway, a 56 Ford V8 recently set a new 500-mile record, averaging over 107 miles per hour. At Daytona Beach, Florida, Ford won the top award for the best all-around performance. And at Kingman, Arizona, a Ford V8 set 30 new world speed records. In performance, Ford goes first. Test drive a new Ford and prove it to yourself.
This was San Francisco in that wonderful October of 1945. When the war was just ended and the men of the battle fleets who had owned San Francisco during the war were back in town, many for the last time. There was a bubbling ferment in the air. It was a time for minding somebody else's business. Perhaps that's why I spoke to her. I can assure you I long ago gave up speaking to strange young ladies, even beautiful ones.
I have to see him, Chief.
I'm sorry, Nora, I can't.
Oh, please, if he's here.
He's here.
Johnson, will you close the door?
Don't take it too hard, miss. I hope you'll forgive me, but I had a Navy wife myself once. It was hard for her to understand that a ship's reunion is for the men who were in her. There's too much that outsiders wouldn't understand. Now, perhaps someday your husband...
I'm not married. Captain Hutchison in there was the commanding officer of the Boarman, and he ought to be my husband, but he isn't. What is it? Have I forgotten to tell you something?
No, I'm sorry. It was just the Boarman, I suppose. Please forgive me.
Captain, you mentioned the Boarman. What do you know about her?
Not much, I'm afraid. Only how she went down.
I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. I'm a little upset. You were only trying to help me.
Look here, Miss...
Corliss. Nora Corliss.
Nora, I'm too old for you to misunderstand my motives. Would a drink help?
It might.
You know, the place doesn't seem the same now the war's over.
No, I know it doesn't. The urgency is gone, I think. During the war days, the men were always going someplace tomorrow, and I think the women felt that this might be their last night together. I guess they tried to cover the knowledge with laughter. Hutch used to laugh. A lot.
Hutch?
The Boarman skipper. But he doesn't laugh anymore. Not ever. If it were another girl, if he would really be happy, I wouldn't mind it so much. I might even be able to be noble.
You don't have to tell me anything. I don't want to pry. Besides, we've just met.
You know something? I think I should tell you, because we've just met. I have to talk to someone, and I can't talk to anyone I know. Look, am I keeping you from something?
Of course not.
It was right here. That table over there. Jolly brought me here. I was engaged to Jolly. He was about to leave for Hawaii on detached service. We came here for lunch, and he introduced me to... I guess this must sound pretty sordid. But it wasn't, Captain. Please believe me, it wasn't. It was quite beautiful.
Sailor, are you annoying this lady?
Nora, this is my CO, Captain Hutchinson. Captain Hutchinson, Miss Corliss, my fiance, and Lieutenant Wimpley.
Captain
Corliss.
Nora.
And Lieutenant Wimp.
Hutch will look after you while I'm gone, but he's not allowed to steal you from me. Just remember that.
Well, it's a terrible imposition, Jolly, but I'm duty-bound. You see, the captain of the ship bears personal responsibility for the physical and mental well-being of all men aboard.
Oh. Well, I'm not at all sure I'll like being looked after.
It'll only be a week.
Well, you've got to learn to like it. It's your duty. It says it's my duty to shepherd my gunnery officer's fiance around San Francisco while he takes his ease beneath...
Ease? I'll be in school.
Beneath the swaying palms, doubtless in the company of hula girls, at a place the Navy forbids me to name.
Well, let's not overdo this. Gunnery school is no picnic.
You are divulging classified information to a person unauthorized to receive the same. Besides that, you're going to miss your plane.
Right. Darling, I'll be back in a week.
Take good care, Angel.
You just remember, Hutch, that's my ring.
Bon voyage.
I'll be seeing you, Skipper.
Seals.
What?
You heard me, seals. This town's got them. You don't live here, do you?
No.
Well, then you've got to see the seals. It's the law. Only the natives are excused.
Well, if it's the law.
In a few weeks, the males will leave. A few days after that, the females. They all swim north to an island in the Aleutian.
Oh, you mean the males like to travel alone?
By the time the females arrive, half the males will be dead. They fight over possession of the females who are due to arrive.
I thought I'd heard every line there was.
Well, you're supposed to say how terrible.
Oh, how terrible.
Well, it isn't really. The seal that wants a particular female can have her if he's willing to risk his life for her. If he wins, there are no unhappy seals. Only dead ones.
Well, it's not much of a line. It's too obscure and much too intellectual.
Should I try something more direct? It is getting late.
Tell me something.
Well, it's not a naval secret.
What is it like, being the commander of a destroyer?
Oh, it beats working.
I mean, really. Can't you ever give a straight answer to anything?
Well, the men adore me. They die for me. In fact, we stand formation every morning to see if anybody's done it during the night.
Will you stop it? What's wrong with you? Why is it you can't ever be off guard, even for a minute?
You really want to know?
Yes.
I'm the captain of a destroyer, Nora. I give the orders and afterwards the men die. I know it's not my fault if they die. And I write the letters. Dear Mrs. Smith, the Secretary of the Navy has already informed you that your son died in action off Lake Hay Gulf. I was his commanding officer. I want you to know he was a fine sailor. I thought perhaps you might like to have this group picture. Johnny's in the 3rd row toward the left. Please accept my sincere condolences. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have said that.
Yes, you should. You should have said it to someone a long time ago.
I couldn't. There wasn't anyone. Until now. How long have you known?
You mean, how long have I known I'm not in love with Jolly? How long have I known I'm in love with you? From the moment I saw you.
Then I knew first, Nora. I knew it the moment I walked into that room. Before you'd ever seen me. Come on. Report my leaving the ship to the executive officer.
Oh, I shouldn't feel so happy. I should feel guilty. Well, I guess I do in a way.
Oh, nonsense, Nora. You didn't ask to fall in love. It just happened.
I know, except you and Jolly can't very well go out in a rock and fight it out, can you?
We don't have to. Now, look, you weren't married to Jolly. You were only engaged to him. Now, I know a broken engagement is tough, but it's not going to be the end of the world for him.
I know, only...
The only alternative would be for you to marry him. Not loving him, loving me. Would that make anybody happy?
No. Oh, look, we've been through this a million times, and I know exactly what I have to do, but it doesn't make it any easier. When I see Jolly...
That's just it, Nora. Guess I should have told you this earlier. You won't be seeing Jolly for a while.
Why not?
Well, he's all right. He's all right. It's just that, well, there's been a change in plans. He's not coming back here to meet the ship. We're picking him up en route.
I can't tell him about this in a letter.
Honey, you're going to have to. I can't walk up to Jolly and hand him his ring back and say, here, Nora asked me to give you this.
No, I guess not. I will write to him. And you won't say anything to him about it until he hears it from me.
No.
You just said something about a change of plans. What does that mean? I mean, when will you...
I don't know, Nora. Even if I did, I couldn't tell you. Tonight, tomorrow night. Look, honey. It'll have to be like this for a while. Just hello and goodbye. Listen. The war can't last forever.
The next day, the Boarman was gone. I tried to telephone Jolly in Hawaii, but I couldn't get the call through.
But you said you'd write to him.
I did write to him. Gay, inconsequential little letters about nothing. Next time, I said. Next time I write to Jolly, I'll tell him. But next time never came. The last letter I mailed to Jolly was sent back to me marked undeliverable.
A year ago, June, wasn't it?
There was a notice in the papers. Lost at sea. Jolliet. Daniel A., Lieutenant J.G.
That would be Jolly's name.
The men of the Boarman called him Jolly, and so did I. The men of the Boarman called the skipper Hutch, except, of course, not in front of him. The men of the Boarman. The Boarman was sunk. There was a notice about that in the papers several weeks later.
And her skipper, Hutch.
Oh, I saw a picture of him in the papers. It said he was wounded. He was in his dress whites accepting a citation from the Admiral in the name of the men of the Boarman. I cut the picture out, and I put it under my pillow because it was the only thing of his I had.
Oh, but surely his letters.
He never answered my letters. And I told myself all the silly things that girls sometimes do tell themselves. Something was wrong with the mail. He was wounded and he couldn't write.
All of which was perfectly possible.
Oh, yes. Except you see, now he's home, and his wounds have healed. He still won't see me. I know because I've tried. Well, then I thought that maybe tonight at the reunion, you saw what happened. Captain, you were Navy. What was it? What happened out there? Was it the Boarman? Was it Hutch? Was it me? I have to know. I think I'm entitled to know. I think I'm entitled to know about it from him. You've been very sweet, and thank you for the drink. I'm sorry I made such a fool of myself.
You are entitled to hear. Come along, we're going to see Hutch.
You mean go back up there? But we can't do that. They'll never let us in.
Nora, I rarely avail myself of these, but rank has its privileges. Now come along.
Johnson, will you get that door?
Yes? Request permission to come aboard, Chief. But, Captain. Very well, sir.
Hutch.
Get out. I thought I made it clear to you.
Commander, the lady is my guest.
And whose guest are you? Captain, you crashed this pot in your rank. Don't push it too far. Now, you brought the lady here. Get her out.
No. Haven't you given her enough?
Haven't I given...
Why don't you tell her the truth? Tell her everything. She has a right to know.
To know what?
I don't think I should be the one to answer that. You should tell her what happened on the Boarman. I'd tell her myself.
You tell her? How could you?
I read the Boarman's action reports.
Captain, reading reports in somebody's office doesn't entitle you to...
I also approved them. I was on the flag deck when the first signal came up. I heard the messages relayed, from the first to the last. Enemy task force, 20 miles northwest. Closing in. That was the first. Boarman does not reply. That was the last.
Enemy task force? We thought that first message was crazy.
But it wasn't. 22 ships sneaking out of the strait, headed for the Gulf. Nothing to stop them but us and 2 other destroyers.
We were 50 miles off Samar.
I was in the starboard bridge wing. I saw the Amato's first salvo fall.
Short 2,000.
If it had hit.
But it didn't. We were still in business. We came to flank speed. We started making smoke.
We're in position, sir.
Let's go in.
All ahead full. All ahead full, sir.
Torpedo control.
Torpedo control, aye.
Make ready for torpedo fire. I'll give you a 20-second warning when it's time.
Aye, sir.
Fire control.
Fire control, aye.
Charlie, save your fire for the cruisers and the destroyers.
With pleasure.
There's 18 inches on those battle wagons.
What about them?
Right full rudder.
Right full rudder, sir.
Steady up on 045.
Steady up on 045, sir. Steady on 045.
What were you saying about those 18 inches, Chief?
The outranges, Captain.
Oh, the Admiral thought of that. We're going in so close, the range won't matter.
All ahead, flank. All ahead, flank. There.
Jolly?
Sir?
Move your fire up and down our superstructure.
We are. What else can we do with these 5-inch pop guns?
You should have thought of that before you put in for destroyer duty.
Wait till we suck him into rock throwing range.
Rock throwing range? We're going in close enough to wrestle him down.
Captain?
Captain speaking.
When it's time, let her have a salvo of 10 fish for Nora and me. Okay?
Okay, Jolly. I knew what they were thinking for Nora and him. He didn't know about Nora and me. It was David against Goliath. Only Goliath had the slingshot and the club. One crippled tin can against 4 heavies. But we didn't have to win. We were buying time for the carriers. And what they threw at us, they couldn't throw at them. But when you buy time, you pay for it. This was payment number 1.
Quickly, man the wheel!
Number 2, I lost count. I knew I was still alive, and some guns were still firing. And then it happened.
Captain? Captain!
Captain speaking.
Request permission to lead damage control party forward. There are men trapped in the forward mount.
That's a problem for damage control, Jolly. You're on fire control.
Damage control's got more than it can handle. And Ballew's here. We've got no more torpedoes. He can handle fire control.
Why can't Ballew?
He's wounded.
Okay.
Thanks, Captain.
Ballew! Captain, how many guns are still firing?
2, sir.
Good. Keep firing. Who gave Johnson permission?
I did, sir. I'd like permission to go on guns.
You've got it.
Maybe it was 5 minutes, maybe 10. Both guns were still firing, but I knew it wasn't for long. Guns don't fire underwater.
I need 5 men. It's Lieutenant Gillette, sir. He got the men out, but the debris shifted. He's trapped in the passageway leading to the mount. 5 men could do it, sir.
5 men? Where do I get them from? Take them off the guns?
But it's Gillette, sir.
I knew what he was thinking. He knew how Jolly looked when he mentioned Nora's name. How I looked when I heard him. 5 men to save 1. Or to serve the guns. But who was going to decide? Hutch, who fell in love with Jolly's girl, or the commander of a Navy ship?
Sir, permission denied. I can't do it, Chief. I can't do it. Keep firing.
The 2 guns were still firing when the Japanese broke off the engagement. No one knew why they did that, but they did. They went away and left the Boarman to die in peace. She went down, stern first, in about 10 minutes. The destroyer picked up those who were left. He never had a chance to get Jolly out.
Oh, Hutch, you should have told me. You should have known I'd understand.
You don't. You can't. You don't understand at all, Nora. I can't marry you. Not ever. Jolly's between us. Always will be. He loved you. Maybe I love you more, I don't know. I was his skipper. He trusted me. I stole you from him and he never knew. Because you never told him.
Commander Hutchison.
Maybe I could have saved him. I didn't try.
Because you couldn't. You know you couldn't.
You're right, Captain, I couldn't. That's the Navy speaking. The Navy's right. Fight the ship, serve the guns, and those who are dead are dead.
It's not just the Navy, it's
Only I
far
don't
more...
care about Navy regs and naval practice and naval rules. I know I did right as an officer. But did I do right as a man? Did I let him die for the reasons in the book? Or because if he had lived, I'd have to tell him face to face?
Of course you did right. Your responsibility was...
To my ship, to the Navy, to the United States, yes. But I let him die. I didn't even try to save him. How can I know? Who can forgive me?
I can.
You. 4 stripes. In your little world, that means you can do anything.
I'll take them off if you wish, and say it to you again. I forgive you for Lieutenant Jollett's death. Completely, you're not to blame. That's the only reason I brought Nora here, to tell both of you.
All right, you told me. Now, will you please leave?
Please, please, it's his decision to make.
Not entirely. Lieutenant Jollett's death was never your fault, and I have every right to forgive you for it. You know, I hope when you and Nora are married, you'll come and see me. 12th District Headquarters. Just ask for Captain Jollett. No one's called me Jolly since my ensign days.
Captain Jollett,
I know, dear. If things had turned out differently, I'd have been proud of you as my son's wife. I'm no less proud of you now.
Captain. I'm sorry for what I said. We'd be honored if you'd stay.
No, Hutch, you were right the first time. This is a private party for the men of the Boarman. But I'd like to tell you something I learned a long time ago. You can't leave the women out. They're always on board. You couldn't sail or fight a ship without them. Good night.
Hit it for Nora and the skipper! You better hit it sweet!
When you were a tin can skipper, Hutch and I were the brothers made, and the water flowed like with sheep. Come and now a trade, farewell, farewell.
Me?
Will you be my husband?
Will I?
Good evening. I'm Jean Crane, and this is John Hudson. In our story, I need a husband temporarily, and I talked John into filling the role.
Well, she didn't have to do much talking. Of course, I had no idea how it would complicate matters.
Let them be as surprised as I was. Try to be with us when Ford Theater next presents Airborne Honeymoon. We think you'll enjoy it.
Theater has been presented by Ford and the Ford dealers of your community who sell and service Ford cars and trucks, as well as A1 and other used cars.